The power of self-love, reclaiming your worth. The moment you decide you're enough. Calm, empowering female tone, soothing, yet strong. There comes a moment when the mirror no longer reflects the pain, the shame, or the cracks of your past. Instead, it shows you your power. This is the moment you choose self-love. This is the moment you reclaim your worth. You were never broken, just buried. Have you ever woken up and felt like you're living someone else's story? A life dictated by past hurts, by what they did, what they said, how they made you feel invisible. You're not alone. But here's a truth they never taught you. You were never broken. You were just buried. Beneath layers of pain, shame, people-pleasing, and silence is the real you. And now, it's time to rise. This isn't just another self-love video telling you to go take a bubble bath or write affirmations in cursive on a mirror. This is a soul revival. This is about power. Your power. The lie they sold you. From the moment we enter the world, we're told. Be quiet. Don't be too emotional. Don't take up too much space. Love others before you love yourself. But here's what they didn't tell you. You cannot truly love others until you first learn to love yourself. They sold you a lie, that your worth is based on how much you give, how much you serve, how little you complain. But self-abandonment is not selflessness. And shrinking doesn't make you more lovable. It just makes you disappear. The awakening. At first, it feels subtle. Maybe you say no to something you always said yes to before. Maybe you stop apologizing for existing. Maybe you look in the mirror, and for the first time, you don't flinch. That's the awakening. That's the moment your soul whispers, I'm done dimming. It's not easy. Healing never is. But you realize you're tired of performing. You want to be real. You want to be free. You want to feel whole again. Loving yourself isn't narcissism. It's survival. We need to end the myth that loving yourself is selfish. Loving yourself is oxygen. It's foundation. It's the permission slip to live. You wouldn't shame a child for saying, I need love. So why do you shame yourself? Loving yourself means holding space for your own heart. It means saying, I matter too. Not just when I'm needed. Not just when I'm useful. But always. You don't have to earn your worth. You already are worthy. Cut the ties that choke your spirit. Let's be honest. There are people, habits, and beliefs that keep you small. That make you doubt your light. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's a toxic workplace. Maybe it's your own voice. But listen, you don't owe anyone your silence to make them comfortable. You don't have to betray your own soul to belong. Self-love is a revolutionary act of saying, I will northwest longer water dead gardens. Let go. Release the grip. Make room for you. Rewriting the narrative. Your worth is not a product of your past. It's not attached to your mistakes, your trauma, or your history. You are not what they did to you. You are what you choose next. So ask yourself, what story are you ready to live now? Will it be one of survival? Or sovereignty? Will it be one of pain? Or power? Because every time you say yes to yourself, you rewrite the story. And this time, you're the hero. Self-love is a daily practice, not a destination. You don't wake up one day and suddenly feel healed. It's in the small choices. Drinking water when you'd rather keep crying. Getting up when shame tells you to stay in bed. Saying, I'm proud of myself even when no one claps. Self-love isn't loud. It's consistent. It's a whisper that turns into a roar. And each day you show up for yourself. You build a life no one can take from you. Say this out loud. Take a deep breath. Put your hand on your heart. And repeat after me. I am enough. I am allowed to be loved by myself for myself. My story is mine now. I am reclaiming my worth. And I will never abandon myself again. There's a voice in your head. You know the one. It whispers, you're not enough. Not pretty enough. Not smart enough. Not lovable enough. But what if that voice was never yours to begin with? The echo of old wounds. That voice. The one that criticizes your every move. The one that calls you a failure before you even try. It's not your true voice. It's the echo of wounds you never asked for. Maybe it sounds like a parent who never hugged you. A teacher who told you you'd never succeed. A partner who made you feel small to feel big. And over time, that echo became familiar. So familiar it felt like the truth. But here's a radical thought. What if the inner critic was just an outdated alarm system, trying to protect a version of you that no longer exists? How self-criticism becomes a survival tool. As children, we internalize everything. If love was conditional, we learn to perform. If affection was rare, we learn to chase it. If criticism was constant, we began to believe we were the problem. And so, we become our own jailers. Punishing ourselves to feel safe. Beating ourselves up before the world can do it. But here's the truth. You don't need protection from your own soul. You need permission to be whole. Identifying the voice, is it really you talking? Let's pause. Right now, think of a moment when you felt like a failure. What did the voice in your head say? You'll never get it right. You're too much. You always ruin things. Now ask. Who first said that to me? Whose voice am I echoing? When you name the source, you reclaim your power. The inner critic thrives in silence. But once exposed, it weakens. Responding with compassion, not combat. You don't silence the inner critic with more hate. You don't scream at it or pretend it doesn't exist. You talk to it. Hey, I see you. I know you're trying to protect me, but I'm safe now. You shift from self-abuse to self-soothing. From punishment to parenting your inner child. Reparenting yourself, becoming the love you never had. Let's talk about reparenting, one of the deepest forms of self-love. When you reparent yourself, you give yourself what you were missing. Unconditional love. Safety. Gentle boundaries. Encouragement instead of shame. You become the person who says, I'm proud of you. It's okay to rest. You don't have to earn love. You are love. And something magical happens. The inner critic quiets down. Not because you silenced it, but because you healed the wound it was trying to guard. Affirmations that rewire your inner voice. Words are powerful. They shape belief. So let's rewrite your internal narrative. Say these out loud and say them often. Purple circle, I speak to myself with kindness. Purple circle, I release the need to be perfect. Purple circle, I no longer believe the lies of my past. Purple circle, I am safe. I am enough. I am healing. Purple circle, my voice matters, even when it trembles. Every time you choose compassion over criticism, you rewrite your brain. You rewire your soul. Setting boundaries with self-doubt. Self-doubt will always knock. But it doesn't deserve a seat at your table. So here's how you take back control. When doubt speaks, ask for proof. When fear creeps in, return to truth. When shame rises, lean on love. Create boundaries for your inner world just like you would for the outer one. Not every thought deserves a reaction. Not every voice deserves a microphone. You are the gatekeeper now. Becoming your own safe place. At some point, healing becomes peace. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just a soft knowing. I am my own safe place. You walk into rooms differently. Not needing to prove. Not needing to beg. You speak up, not to convince but to express. You move, not to be seen, but to be free. This is the power of healing your inner critic. You stop fearing yourself. And you finally feel at home. Reclaim your voice. Here's what I want you to take away from this. You are not your inner critic. You are not broken. You are not too much or too little. You are learning, growing, reclaiming. Every loving thought you offer yourself rewrites history. Every moment of grace brings you back to your truth. What if I told you, you don't need permission to be powerful? What if I told you, you don't need to be liked to be lovable? What if I told you, you've been waiting for validation that was never yours to chase? This is where you stop waiting for the world to approve. This is where you give that power back to yourself. The performance we've all been trained to give. It starts young. We're taught. Be polite. Be agreeable. Don't upset people. Dress right. Smile right. Speak softly. Fit in. And if we do that well, we get love. Or we get less pain. So we learn to perform. To mold ourselves. To shrink. We become mirrors for what others want. Until one day, we can't even see our own reflection anymore. But you were not born to be a copy of someone else's expectations. You were born to be you. Loudly. Unapologetically. Fully. How external validation becomes an addiction. Let's talk honestly. Approval feels good. When someone says, "I'm proud of you," or likes your post, or says, "You're amazing," it lights you up. But like any addiction, it fades fast. You keep chasing the next hit. And suddenly, your value becomes a scoreboard. How many people clap? How many say yes? How many stay happy because you said yes when you wanted to say no? External validation is a sugar high. But self-approval? That's soul nutrition. The cost of people-pleasing. What does it cost to always seek validation? Your peace. Your energy. Your boundaries. Your truth. People-pleasing might look like kindness, but it's often rooted in fear, fear of rejection, abandonment, disapproval. But hear this clearly. Your job is not to be liked. Your job is to be whole. And not ever. We'll celebrate your healing. But that doesn't mean you should stop. Approval is an inside job. Let's redefine the source of worth. True validation doesn't come from applause. It comes from alignment. From looking in the mirror and saying, "I'm proud of how I showed up today. I honored my boundaries. I stayed true to my truth." When you become your own validator, something shifts. You stop chasing rooms where you don't belong. You stop molding yourself for acceptance. And instead, you choose authenticity over approval. Practices to build self-approval. Here are 5 daily practices to build your internal validation muscle. Mirror talk. Every morning, look into your eyes and say, "You're doing your best, and I'm proud of you." Celebrate small wins. Validation isn't just for big milestones. Brushed your teeth today? That's worthy. Took a breath instead of yelling? That's growth. Permission slips. Write your own. Literally. Today, I give myself permission to rest. Today, I give myself permission to say no. Inner child letters. Write to the younger you who thought they had to earn love. Remind them, you were always enough. Unfollow the noise. Reduce exposure to people and accounts that trigger comparison or make you feel small. Reclaiming the power to disappoint. Yes, you are allowed to disappoint people. And that might be the most liberating truth of all. You're not here to fulfill everyone's expectations. You're here to fulfill your own evolution. Some will be mad when you say no. Some will leave when you stop performing. But the ones who stay, they'll love the real you. And more importantly, you will love you. Redefining what love really means. Love is not control. Love is not performance. Love is not earned through sacrifice of self. Real love, the kind you deserve, is built on freedom, truth, and mutual respect. You don't have to do backflips to be worthy. You don't have to be less of yourself to be more loved. If love requires you to abandon yourself, it's not love. It's a transaction. And you're done with that. Mantras to anchor your worth. Let these words ground you. Green circle, I no longer seek approval outside myself. Green circle, I honor my truth, even if no one claps. Green circle, my worth is not up for debate. Green circle, it's okay if they don't understand. I understand me. Green circle, I validate myself, loudly, boldly, lovingly. Say them. Write them. Own them. Because the more you practice self-approval, the less you'll need to beg for someone else's. The quiet confidence of self-acceptance. Here's what happens when you stop chasing approval. You walk into rooms with peace, not performance. You trust your gut instead of over-explaining. You rest. You breathe. You shine, quietly, consistently, confidently. This is the power of reclaiming your voice. This is the revolution of self-love. Your peace is sacred. Your time is sacred. Your heart is sacred. And boundaries? They're not walls to keep people out. They're bridges to let the right ones in. Why boundaries are a form of self-love. Let's get one thing clear. Boundaries are not about punishment. They are about protection. Protection for your mind, your body, your spirit. When you set a boundary, you're saying, this is where I end, and the world begins. This is what honors me. This is what I will no longer allow. It's not mean. It's not selfish. It's maturity. It's healing. It's power. The psychological roots of boundary issues. Many of us struggle with boundaries because we were taught to prioritize others first. We equated love with sacrifice. We feared rejection, conflict, or abandonment. So what did we do? We said yes when we meant no. We smiled through discomfort. We stayed silent to be safe. But every time you abandon your needs for someone else's comfort, you chip away at your worth. Healing begins when you stop betraying yourself to keep the peace. What a healthy boundary actually looks like. Let's break it down. A healthy boundary sounds like, I'm not available to talk right now, but I care about you. I don't accept being spoken to like that. I need space, and that doesn't mean I love you less. No, that's it. No explanation needed. It looks like stepping away from draining conversations, saying no to overcommitting, leaving situations that don't honor your values, prioritizing rest without guilt. A boundary is love with a backbone. Guilt is a sign of growth, not wrongdoing. When you first start setting boundaries, you'll feel guilt. Not because you're doing something bad, but because you're doing something different. Guilt is the echo of old programming. If I say no, they won't love me. If I rest, I'm lazy. If I protect my peace, I'm selfish. These thoughts are lies. The truth. You're allowed to outgrow who you were taught to be. You're allowed to disappoint others in the process of not disappointing yourself. Boundaries versus barriers. Boundaries are firm but not hard-hearted. They are meant to keep you safe, not shut down. There's a difference between avoiding everyone, barrier. Limiting your time with those who drain you, boundary. Lashing out when you're hurt, barrier. Calmly expressing how you feel, and what you need, boundary. Boundaries come from love. Barriers come from fear. Choose love. How to discover the boundaries you need? Ask yourself, where do I consistently feel drained? Who makes me doubt my worth? What conversations leave me resentful? What behaviors do I tolerate that make me feel small? These questions point to the places where a boundary is needed. And once you see it, act. Don't overthink. Don't wait for permission. Don't let politeness override your peace. You teach the world how to treat you by how you treat yourself. Scripts for setting boundaries without apology. Sometimes we need the words. Here are real-life, ready-to-use scripts. Personal relationships. I'm not comfortable with that. Let's talk about something else. I love you, but I need time to process before I respond. Work. I'm not available after 6 p.m., but I'll follow up tomorrow morning. I have too much on my plate. I can't take on another task right now. Social life. Thank you for the invite, but I'm taking a night for myself. That joke doesn't sit right with me. Please don't say it again. Practice saying them in the mirror. Say them until your voice shakes less. What happens when you hold the line? People will push. Test you. Question you. Try to guilt you. That's okay. Let them. Because the ones who benefit from your lack of boundaries will always be the loudest when you build them. But the ones who love you, truly, will adjust. And even if no one adjusts, you didn't lose them. You found yourself. Boundaries unlock your next level. Here's what happens when you get good at boundaries. You sleep better. You breathe deeper. You smile more freely. You feel safe with yourself. You stop performing. You stop explaining. You stop apologizing for existing. Because you've finally chosen you. Say this with me. Hand on heart. Deep breath. I do not need to shrink to keep the peace. I do not need to explain why I choose myself. I am allowed to be whole and protected. I am allowed to say no. My boundaries are acts of love for myself and the world I want to live in. You see them every day. That person in the mirror. But how often do you really look at them? With kindness. With pride. With love. This is where it begins, not with grand gestures, but with simple, sacred rituals that say, I am worth showing up for. Why self-love needs a daily practice. Healing doesn't just happen in therapy. Confidence doesn't just grow from compliments. Self-love isn't a one-time declaration, it's a lifestyle. It happens in the way you speak to yourself, the way you nourish your body, the boundaries you reinforce, the rest you give without guilt, the forgiveness you offer, especially to yourself. Loving yourself isn't loud. It's consistent. The morning mirror moment. Start here. Every morning, before you pick up your phone. Before you scroll, compare, or stress. Look in the mirror. Just you and your reflection. And say, good morning. I'm glad you're here. You're doing your best. You are worthy of love, just as you are. Say it like you mean it. Even if it feels awkward. Even if it makes you cry. Because the mirror isn't just glass. It's a gateway to remembrance. The ritual of slowness. In a world that glorifies hustle, choose slowness as a form of self-respect. Sip your tea without rushing. Eat without your phone in front of you. Walk without headphones, just listening to your breath. Pause before saying yes, ask if you really mean it. Every act of slowness is an act of saying, I am not a machine. I am a soul in a body. I deserve peace. Daily self-love journal prompts. Every evening, Even if only for 5 minutes, reflect with intention. Use these prompts. What did I do today that honored myself? When did I feel proud of who I was? What boundary did I hold? What would I tell my younger self tonight? And most importantly, what can I forgive myself for? You don't need to write perfect sentences. You just need to show up to yourself. Turn ordinary tasks into sacred rituals. Self-love doesn't always look like spa days. It can be the way you moisturize your skin, slowly, lovingly, saying thank you to your body. The way you clean your space, as a gesture of respect for your energy. The way you breathe deeply in the shower, washing off more than just dirt, but shame, pressure, and judgment. Ordinary tasks become extraordinary when done with intention. Moving your body because you love it, not because you hate it. Exercise is not a punishment. Movement is not punishment. Your body is not the enemy. It's your partner, your vehicle, your home. Move it like you appreciate it. Dance with no one watching. Stretch slowly with candles lit. Walk in nature and listen to the sound of your feet. Move your body because you love how it feels to be alive, not because you're trying to fix yourself. Digital detoxes for mental clarity. One of the most radical forms of self-love in the modern world. Disconnecting. At least once a day, unplug. Silence the noise. Step away from the screens. Put your phone down and pick up your own presence. Breathe. Journal. Rest. Meditate. Create. Because constantly consuming the world's voices will drown out your own. Daily self-love mantras to anchor you. Here are mantras to speak, whisper, and carry. Crystal ball, I am my own home. Crystal ball, I do not chase. I attract what aligns. Crystal ball, my peace is my power. Crystal ball, I deserve rest without guilt. Crystal ball, I am proud of who I am becoming. Speak them in the morning. Repeat them at night. Let them reprogram your subconscious with softness. What to say to yourself on hard days. Not every day will feel good. Not every morning will be filled with love. And that's okay. On those days, say, it's okay to be tired. I'm allowed to feel low and still be lovable. This feeling is passing. I'm still worthy. Even now, I am enough. Because self-love isn't about feeling good all the time. It's about showing up for yourself even when it's hard. Make yourself sacred again. You are not a machine. You are not a checklist. You are not a project. You are sacred. You are divine. You are already whole. And these daily rituals, they aren't chores. They're reminders that you matter. You've worn so many versions of yourself. The overachiever. The people pleaser. The one who always forgives. But what if it's time to lay some of them to rest? Not because they were wrong, but because they were survival. And now, you're ready to live. Why we hold on to old selves. Sometimes we cling to the very identities that exhaust us. The strong one. The fixer. The caretaker. The quiet one who swallows their pain to keep the peace. We wear these masks until we forget what our real face looks like. But what got you through the fire may not be what carries you into freedom. You are allowed to outgrow roles. You are allowed to evolve. Loyalty to the old you is not love. You don't have to keep choosing pain just because it's familiar. You don't owe the past version of you an apology for healing. In fact, loving yourself sometimes means betraying who you once were for who you're becoming. Letting go isn't a loss. It's a return. A return to peace. To freedom. To your truest essence. The quiet death of old selves. Some deaths don't come with funerals. They come in the form of No longer laughing at jokes that offend your soul. Not answering messages that feel heavy. Outgrowing conversations you used to chase. Saying, I don't do that anymore. It's subtle. It's sacred. It's silent. But in that silence, you reclaim your power. Rituals for letting go. Letting go doesn't have to be dramatic. But it should be intentional. Try these. Write a goodbye letter to your old self. Thank her. Honor her. And release her. Light a candle as a symbol of closure. Say aloud, I release what no longer serves me. Create a symbolic shedding ritual. Take a long bath. Cut your hair. Change your space. Transform the outside to reflect the inside. Let your spirit know. We're stepping into something new now. The grief of growth. No one talks about the grief that comes with growth. When you become someone new, you have to say goodbye to friends who only knew the unhealed you, dreams that no longer match your spirit, behaviors that once felt like protection, even parts of your personality that were never really you. It's okay to cry over what you've outgrown. That doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're brave. What happens when you let go? Letting go makes space. Suddenly, you feel lighter, clearer, more aligned, more honest. You begin to walk differently. Not because you changed, but because you finally took off the armor. You don't have to carry what hurt you, just because it helped you survive. Loving yourself through the transition. Transitions are messy. You may feel like you're floating between versions. One day you feel empowered. The next day you question everything. That's normal. Healing is not a straight line. And self-love isn't always glamorous. It's about holding yourself through the in-between. Saying, I may not be where I want to be, but I love who I'm becoming. Creating space for the new you. When you let go, you create space. Now you can ask, who do I want to be now? What does my healed life look like? What energy am I choosing to allow in? What kind of love feels nourishing, not draining? Step by step, day by day, you rebuild. This time, from truth. From alignment. From love. Your new identity, rooted in worth, not wounds. You are not the trauma. You are not the titles. You are not the roles others placed on you. You are the awareness. The reclamation. The rebirth. You are someone who no longer performs to be loved. You are someone who no longer hides to feel safe. You are someone who knows. Your worth was never in question. Only your belief in it. Repeat this to yourself. Hand over heart. Deep breath. Eyes closed. I release the versions of me I no longer need. I thank them. I bless them. I let them go. I now walk in alignment with who I truly am. I honor my journey, but I do not live in my past. I am free. I am new. I am whole. You've tiptoed long enough. You've dimmed your light long enough. You've watered yourself down, so others could feel comfortable. But not anymore. It's time to become unapologetically you. Not perfect. Not polished. But powerfully real. What does it mean to be unapologetically you? To be unapologetically yourself means you no longer filter your truth to please others. You don't wait for permission to live fully. You stop hiding the parts of you that are vibrant, quirky, different, wild, or loud. You own your voice, your energy, your power. This isn't rebellion. It's reclamation. You're not too much. You're just no longer shrinking to fit spaces too small for your soul. The colors they told you to hide. Maybe you were told, don't talk too loud. Don't laugh like that. Don't dress that way. You're intimidating. You should tone it down. So you folded. You silenced yourself. You erased parts of your brilliance to be digestible. But here's what no one told you. You were never too much, they were just not enough to hold your magic. It's time to paint in all your colors again. Loud. Bold. Bright. Messy. Real. You don't owe anyone a version of you that makes them comfortable. Stop performing for approval. Stop editing your personality to avoid discomfort. You don't have to explain your dreams. You don't have to justify your boundaries. You don't have to tone down your joy, your ambition, or your fire. If your truth makes someone uncomfortable, that's their mirror, not your fault. Let them adjust. Or let them go. Either way, you stay rooted in your authenticity. Reclaiming the power of no. Being unapologetically you means mastering a simple but powerful word, no. No to performative kindness. Shrinking in rooms where you belong. Overcommitting to stay liked. Relationships that drain your light. Every time you say no to something that dishonors you, you say yes to your liberation. Permission slips to be fully yourself. Here are some daily permission slips, write them down, speak them out loud, live them. I give myself permission to take up space. I give myself permission to change my mind. I give myself permission to walk away from what no longer aligns. I give myself permission to shine without apology. You don't need their nod. You don't need their acceptance. You are your own permission. Speaking your truth, even if your voice shakes. Your voice is a sacred instrument. Don't silence it. Say what you mean. Express what you need. Speak from your heart, even if it trembles. Because the more you use your voice, the more powerful it becomes. Speak up, not for attention, but for alignment. Dress, move, live like you're free. Self-expression is self-love in action. Wear what makes you feel alive. Move in ways that feel embodied, not approved. Laugh loudly. Cry openly. Love fiercely. Design your days based on your energy, not their expectations. You are an experience, not a product. You don't need to be marketable. You just need to be real. You're not for everyone, and that's the point. You were not born to be liked by all. You were born to be fully yourself, even if that makes some people uncomfortable. Think about it. Sunflowers don't apologize for being tall. The ocean doesn't apologize for its depth. Fire doesn't apologize for its warmth or its destruction. You are not here to be tolerated. You are here to be felt. Let the wrong ones misunderstand you, so the right ones can find you. Looking in the mirror without shame. To be unapologetically yourself is to look in the mirror and say, "This is me. I am not perfect. But I am real. I am not everyone's cup of tea. But I am my own. I belong to myself, and that's enough." You don't need to be more. You just need to stop apologizing for being you. Say this to yourself. Stand up. Chin high. Shoulders back. Breathe deep. I no longer dim my light. I no longer shrink my joy. I no longer apologize for my truth. I am worthy of being fully seen. I am allowed to be bold, bright, and unapologetically me. You've searched for love in many places. In people, achievements, perfection, applause. But what if love isn't out there? What if it's been waiting for you, in you, this whole time? This is what it means to come home to yourself. Wholeness over perfection. You've spent years trying to fix yourself. Trying to be good enough. Strong enough. Perfect enough. But here's the radical truth. You were never broken. You were just separated from your own truth. Self-love isn't about becoming flawless. It's about embracing your wholeness, even with the cracks. What wholeness feels like. Wholeness is not perfection. It's peace. It's self-trust. It's belonging to yourself. It feels like saying, "I love you" in the mirror and meaning it. Making mistakes and not spiraling into shame. Knowing your worth doesn't rise and fall with validation. Holding both joy and sadness, without judgment. Wholeness says, "I accept all of me. Even the parts still healing." Your worth was never lost, just forgotten. From childhood wounds to societal conditioning, you were taught that your worth must be earned. But your worth? It is inherent. Unchanging. Unshakable. You were born enough. You are still enough. You always will be enough. Coming home to yourself means remembering that truth, daily. Embracing cycles, not straight lines. Healing isn't linear. Neither is growth. Some days, you'll feel radiant. Other days, fragile. Some days, you'll soar. Others, you'll stumble. But through it all, you are still whole. Self-love is not measured by how perfect you are. It's measured by how gently you treat yourself when you're not. Becoming your own soulmate. You've chased connection. Longed for someone to complete you. But what if the love you've been seeking was always meant to come from you? Be your own safe space. Greatest encourager. Loving witness. Soft place to land. You are not half of anything. You are the whole damn miracle. Protecting the home within. Coming home to yourself means creating safety inside. Speak kindly to your inner child. Say no when your soul says, "Not this." Take rest without guilt. Forgive yourself quickly. Celebrate even the smallest wins. Build a life where your inner world feels like sanctuary, not war. Let your nervous system finally exhale. Living in alignment, not approval. When you live aligned with your truth, you choose peace over popularity. Integrity over image. Joy over judgment. Purpose over performance. And suddenly, you stop needing to impress. You just become. Alignment is the sound your soul makes when you're finally living as yourself. What life looks like when you belong to you. Here's what happens when you come home to yourself. You laugh more freely. You stop explaining your worth. You love from overflow, not from emptiness. You trust your instincts. You walk into rooms knowing, "I don't have to prove anything. I just have to be me." You stop searching. And you start embodying. Your self-love story isn't over. This journey isn't about reaching a final destination. It's a daily practice. A lifelong unfolding. And it will look different every day. Some days you'll feel powerful. Some days you'll need reminding. And that's okay. Because now, you know how to come home. Back to your breath. Back to your truth. Back to your worth. You've written a new story, not one of wounds but of worth. Say this and feel it. I am whole. I am enough. I am not here to be perfect, I am here to be real. I no longer abandon myself. I belong to me now. I am the love I was waiting for. You are the love. You are the light. You are the power.